Notre Dame's coaching staff, including head coach Marcus Freeman, has been crisscrossing the country the last few days to solidify the class of 2022. Almost all of Notre Dame's commitments will be in South Bend this weekend, so a huge few days ahead with early signing period beginning on Wednesday, December 15th. Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Ladke along with Mike Singer, recruiting expert for blueandgold.com. Mike, one of the many stops that the Irish staff has made was done right after the introduction ceremony on Monday for Marcus Freeman. They stop up in Wisconsin to see Billy Schrouth. What's the news there?
Yeah, I mean, basically a way for Notre Dame to say, here's who we really, really, really want, to round out this class strong, Billy Schrouth. And we're just watching his film, A Mauler on the Inside. And, everything I'm hearing is positive. But for the most part, for the past year and a half, it has been positive. So
Yeah.
he seemed like a Notre Dame lean for just, again, a year and a half, going back to the summer of 2020. But here we are, and 6 days away as we record this from National Signing Day, and Schrouth still hasn't made a public decision. He had a home visit with Marcus Freeman and Tommy Rees earlier this week. I feel like that went really well, but Wisconsin also had a home visit with him here recently. So how did that go? If he decided, hey, I want to go to Notre Dame after the Notre Dame home visits, then did Wisconsin come in, and now he's thinking, you just don't know. But everything I'm hearing continues to be positive with him landing with the Fighting Irish. I think that's really where he wants to be. I just think he's having a hard time saying no to the Badgers, but we will see here soon. I personally think, he'll make a decision public here in the next couple days, but I also said that on Monday. So he is an early enrollee, so he'll be deciding he'll be signing next week for sure. We'll just have to see where it ends up being.
When we say the Notre Dame staff is crisscrossing the country, we mean they are literally going to every time zone, and really a sign of maybe what's to come for this recruiting operation. They are doing everything they can to get Anthony Lucas, right? And they've been on the outside looking in. Do you feel Notre Dame's making any progress there, Mike?
Follow the visits, Greg. That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're really wanting to get him on campus this weekend. If they do, I mean, you got the last opportunity. You're the last school to see him face to face, because coming out of the dead period, coming out of this weekend, it's a dead period, so you can't have any face-to-face contact if you're a college coach with the recruit, from that Monday to Wednesday. So it would, Fighting Irish should get the last crack at him. So maybe, but I think it's going to be Texas A&M or LSU. Notre Dame basically, when it hired Marcus Freeman, the staff basically was like, all right, we got a new head coach in here, kind of this new momentum. Let's go see if we can get Xavier Wonkpa. Because I had been told that Wonkpa turned Notre Dame down. And then when Freeman became head coach, they were like, all right, let's just give this thing another shot, see what happens.
Yeah.
And then he turned them down again. You got to give him A for effort in that. But they're kind of doing the same thing for Lucas here. Now, he hadn't said, no, I'm not going to Notre Dame. But there's definitely a lack of optimism. Coaching staff, Marcus Freeman, Chad Bowden, Mike Mickens, Mike Elfson were all out there this week. I mean, this is a 5-star type talent, in my opinion. Would be an absolute huge get for Notre Dame. But I just personally think he's going to end up somewhere in the SEC.
Another 4-star prospect that you and I both feel maybe not 5-star, but could be ranked higher is Devin Moore, who was a Notre Dame commitment for a while, correct? Has decommitted, and once again, Notre Dame's doing everything they can to get him back in the mold.
Yeah, I mean, what I had been hearing was he's going to officially visit somewhere this weekend. It's going to be Notre Dame or Florida, which, by the way, Moore did officially visit Notre Dame over the summer, but the NCAA has a rule. If you have a coaching change at head coach, you can take a second official visit to that school. So Moore could officially visit Notre Dame this weekend. He hasn't taken official to Florida, though, and I guess they have a head coaching change as well, so he could have taken a second one there anyways. But I'm hearing he's going to go to Florida. Florida's new defensive backs coach comes over from LSU, and Moore already thought highly of him. Raymond is his name. I can't remember his first and last name, but I think it's going to be Florida right now. But I got to talk to sources here Thursday night and into Friday. Notre Dame, I mean, they had a home visit with him. Marcus Freeman, Mike Mickens had one with him Wednesday night. I heard it went really good, but then coming out of it, the expectation still for him to take an official to Florida. So we will see. But I mean, this is a prized recruit from Notre Dame. It's not ideal that he visits Florida the weekend before National Signing Day, but Notre Dame's going to do everything in their power to keep recruiting him hard and get him in the fold.
Louisiana wide receiver Amorion Walker, he's still playing football. They have their state championship game this weekend, so maybe it's hard to get a read when he's still in season, but it feels like Notre Dame feels good about that.
Yeah, I'll loop in him and CJ Williams for this kind of update. They're both committed to Notre Dame, both playing in state title games
Mhm.
on Saturday night. So they can't officially visit Notre Dame this weekend unless they wanted to go up there for like 16 hours
Yeah.
or something. It's not really ideal. So they're not, to my knowledge, officially visiting. But during Walker's home visit with Notre Dame this week, I believe that was also on Wednesday with Marcus Freeman and Dell Alexander and the guys. He's saying all the right things. I mean, my sources on the Notre Dame side feel really good about it, but he officially visited Mississippi State last weekend. That was kind of out of the blue. Michigan, writers still feel confident that he's going to flip to the Wolverines. Personally, I think he's going to end up with Notre Dame.
Mhm.
Williams, that one's tough. I mean, he was just at USC this past Sunday. He visited there at least twice during the football season. And CJ has only been to Notre Dame once, and that was for his official visit. Marcus Freeman had an in-home visit with him this week. It went really well. My gut tells me that Notre Dame splits with CJ Williams and Amorion Walker right now. But I would absolutely not rule out the chance that they get both.
Mhm.
But also wouldn't rule out the chance they get neither. So we will just have to see. And that would be a huge blow to Notre Dame's receiver class if that happened, obviously.
Yeah. Uh, Notre Dame has a great start in the class of 2023. There's a chance that they add another top player this weekend. Justyn Rhett is the Bishop Gorman product, is planning on making his announcement. What's your preview of that?
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee's done a really good job in the recruitment. Oklahoma has a strong pull at Bishop Gorman, but they have a head coaching change there. So it would be kind of odd for him to make it a commitment to Oklahoma at this point in time with him being so young. But I still like Notre Dame. I mean, the coaching staff of the Fighting Irish have really valued him, done a great job going back to the summer when they offered him after the Irish invasion camp. You just never know with these decisions, especially around signing day, as there's always craziness, even though he's a 2023 recruit. But yeah, personally, I'll ride with Notre Dame on this one. That's where my future cast pick is. Even if he has a last minute change of heart or something, he wants to go elsewhere. I'm still sticking it on Notre Dame. Um, you know, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking right now. Don't have an amazingly strong conviction either way on what school he's going to choose, but my expectation is that Notre Dame looks pretty good here.
Yeah, and that video you were watching of Justyn Rhett, that's brought to you by Mike Singer, who made a trip out to Las Vegas this fall. So what's that? So just so our users know, Wednesday is the first day of early signing period. Technically, prospects can start sending in their letters of intent at 12 or 12:01, right? Tuesday night into Wednesday, if they'd like, correct?
Yeah, it's 7 a.m.
Or
Local
7 a.m.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, 7 a.m. local time. So if you're on the East Coast, your Steve Angelis and Jaden Bellamy and, Jalen Sneed, those guys on the East Coast, they can start sending them at 7 a.m. And then 10 a.m. Eastern time, you could see guys like Noafe Tui Halamaka, Jaden Mickey, potentially CJ Williams, all those guys. I mean, what's going to be interesting as we get closer to National Signing Day, Greg, is does a CJ Williams want to have a ceremony for his final decision, or a
Right.
Amorion Walker? What that kind of looks like. Because typically when you have a committed kid and he's got a ceremony, it doesn't look good. But last year, Logan Diggs had a ceremony, skipped the early signing period to announce on National Signing Day in February. Meanwhile, he had already signed in December with Notre Dame. So antics are certainly a thing that happen at this time of the year. So the one thing that you can expect is the unexpected when it comes around to National Signing Day.
All right, everyone. Mike, thank you for your time. Everyone, thanks for watching. Hit like on this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay tuned to blueandgold.com. Please sign up for our free newsletter. It's free. And you can get all kinds of information, especially about Notre Dame football recruiting, as Notre Dame tries to wrap up the class of 2022 here during the early signing period. All right, everyone. Thanks.